Greetings and welcome again. And as I promised, here is the unboxing and review of the new Fist of Fury. So let's start with the release first. What it has, as you can see, a very nice sleeve made by Kung Fu Bob O'Brien, which depicts part of the final fight in the movie with Jackie, the main bad guy Okimura, and his daughter, and then some of supporting characters in here as well. Some of them were from the first Fist of Fury actually. So movie goes like that. It's having the same cover, which is a reversible cover actually, with the same artwork, and inside we've got, let me just open it up, we've got the disc, we've got a booklet. Here is the reversible cover. Just open up. As you can see, that's the original poster art from 1976, and as a booklet with the production notes and a few more illustrations from Kung Fu Bob O'Brien. Here is a bit of brief history about Lo Wei Productions, about how Fist of Fury came to fruition, and New Fist of Fury as well. And there is a difference here between the two versions, because it contains two versions of the movie. One re-edited and cut, which was made in 1980, and another one which is the theatrical original cut in 1976, which was about 120 minutes long. This one was 83 minutes long, so about roughly 40 minutes were missing from the movie itself, and which made it a very incoherent one, in my opinion, because when I saw it first, it was just abysmal. It wasn't playing right completely. So I thought that this version, the longer one, is much better in order to create more fully fleshed out characters actually, and you really see the motivation behind some of them, but more on that later. So here we've got again some notes, and again stills from the movie, a few of them black and white, a few of them in color. Jackie showing the publicist like stunts here, or stills. He's playing with the trisection stuff. His main weapon in the final fight as well. And there is a parallel between using the Fist of Fury technique in both movies, the first one and the sequel. And here is a production notes about the producer, director, and writer Lo Wei. Here directing Bruce Lee, and here directing Jackie. And that's Nora Miao, the actress who was portraying the love interest of Zhen in the first Fist of Fury, and now she's a returning character in this one as well, acting as a catalyst for Jackie's transformation. And here again, on black and white still, that's the main bad guy called Chan Sing. He's I saw him again in Iron Fisted Monk from 1977, which was the directorial debut of Sammo Hung, fellow classmate of Jackie in his Chinese Peking opera, where he studied opera and arts and martial arts and everything. Here is the action director for the picture. He's a returning character from the first Fist of Fury, where he played a bad guy there. And here he served as an action director. Jackie was serving as a assistant action director. So that's about the booklet. And the movie itself, it's a pretty standard release. No lobby cards, no poster. In the later release of from 88 movies, they will become more prominent as a features. But here we just have that. But the sleeve alone is absolutely amazing. And the image itself is being done a very good restoration, 2K restorations actually, of the original 35mm negative. So nothing much of as a bonus feature, just the original Hong Kong trailer and English trailer, and a few commentary tracks as well. So this is the movie basically, and the release actually for the title. And now on to the review. And now on to my impressions and sort of a review of New Fist of Fury. A long time ago, I watched that movie, but it was re-edited 1980s version, 83 minutes long. And by that time, I thought it was a very, very weak movie. Really abysmal, really like incoherent, incomprehensive at all, completely. It was just like few scenes joined together without any sense of logical interpretation or plot wise as well. Characters were just like there, like paper thin. So for the purpose of this episode, I went back and rewatched the original theatrical version, 120 minutes long. And this is a much better movie. Structurally wise, it's a much better like story there devised. All the characters are really fleshed out. You can see and understand their motivation. And it's just a better movie. So it's a direct sequel to Fist of Fury from 1972. And a few of the surviving members from the Jingwu School in Shanghai, led by Nora Miao's character called Miao Lier, who was a fiancée of Bruce Lee's character, Chen Zhen, in the Fist of Fury. So she's leading a few members there to Taiwan to look for her maternal grandfather, who is one of the elders and one of the mentors in one of the many martial arts schools there. But she finds that the Japanese occupation is spread there as well. The movie was set during the World War II, when Japanese forces were occupying China and Taiwan as well. So she finds herself in the midst again of hostile forces, so to speak. So she's rebuilding the Jingwu School, martial arts school, and she manages to teach Jackie Chan's character, made here like a petty thief and an orphan, in the secret technique of Fist of Fury. So he can join and become a rebel and join forces with everybody else there to fight the oppressors. So the movie itself, it's a very standard one. So it's a formula there which was replicated from the Fist of Fury. And Jackie's involvement was quite like interesting there, because at that time he was working in Australia as a construction worker, where his parents was working as well. Because he's done some movies in the industry, but he was left disheartened and disappointed. So then again, he went to Australia, and a telegram from his longtime collaborator and agent and manager, Willie Chan, brought him back into Hong Kong. So he was about to have his first major role in the New Fist of Fury, made by Lo Wei Productions Company, which was a newly formed company from Lo Wei, who was by that time decided to look for the new Bruce Lee. Still, 3 years after his death, of Bruce Lee in 1973, the producers were looking for the new Bruce Lee. So therefore, they was like scattered all over the place to look for people who has either physical likeness or resemblance to Bruce Lee, or the one with martial arts skills. So that led to the creation of the subgenre Bruceploitation movies, where some of the characters would play his brother or his cousin or any other relative, just to continue the story of Bruce Lee. He was very popular, but they couldn't replicate his success. They couldn't replicate Bruce Lee's charisma. They couldn't replicate his persona. They couldn't replicate anything at all, because Bruce Lee left, when he died, he left a very big void and a very big shoes to fill by any competitor there. So Lo Wei thought, like, making a sequel to one of his like successes with Bruce Lee, Fist of Fury, with a new lead, might get him the praise and success everybody wants to reach. And so that came to the creation of the New Fist of Fury. It's a very standard movie, as I said before, and in martial arts wise, the moves there and the scenes and the choreography, I thought it was pretty limited and pretty, let's say, standard as well. Nothing very immersive, nothing very like amazing, nothing even like remotely interesting. It was just like there. So the martial arts scenes actually made like to complement the plot rather than being the highlight of the movie. And Jackie was given his best there, as best he can, because he wasn't having any control in here. In later productions, he'll have more control over the martial arts scenes, at least, or even the directorial setup. So, but here he was just like one of the performers, so he decided to just go for it. And you can see his performance is not bad, but it's not very outstanding. It's not something to be remembered by. But he was just following the advices from Lo Wei, who decided to change very little from his original Fist of Fury formula. Just the Japanese people are bad, or the Japanese occupiers there are bad, and Chinese has to rebel, and there always been one character there who was a traitor, kind of, who is working together with the Japanese for his own benefits. It's all like standard tropes and segments thrown in there just to make the movie work. But the longer version is kind of better story-wise, because you can see the story expanded in a very fluid way. And the final duel, the martial arts duel there, was, I would say, pretty decent, because it follows a hand-to-hand combat with the multiple opponents, then one-on-one, and then with weapons. So it's kind of, there is a variety there, but that variety was, I think, came too late into the picture. All the other like fight scenes before that was just either training ones, which are very, very basic, or something like a street brawl. It wasn't have a fluidity there. It wasn't having any of the elements which we're gonna see in later Jackie Chan productions and movies as well. But at that time, that was the status quo, so to speak, in the industry. So everybody followed that until later on in 1978, when Jackie was becoming very popular with his starring roles in Snake and the Eagle's Shadow and Drunken Master. Then the genre kind of like, reinvented itself. Basically, it was injected with a new fresh style, which everybody wants to replicate again, because it was the best next thing. And so that's New Fist of Fury is far from it, from the success of the Snake and Eagle Shadow and Drunken Master, because Lo Wei decided to play like the characters, Jackie's character, very straightforward, very serious, with a few nuances, like a comic nuances thrown here and there. But I think it's a great opportunity because it was given to Jackie, so he can actually prove himself. And he gave it all. He gave it all in his first big production, so he can just do what needs to be done and then move forward. And in every subsequent movie under Lo Wei's production company, he was becoming a better actor. He was becoming a better performer and a better martial artist. And we're going to see that progression as well as we go. But here he was kind of like limited by the plot, and he was kind of limited by all these all the structure of the movie, because he has to play a serious role. He has to like show a little bit of growing up there. There was one scene which was kind of like interesting to me as a parallel between the two movies, because he's coming back to the courtyard of the Jingwu school with the repaired sign of the name there, and then for a brief period of time we see his image on screen, and then in the next second Bruce Lee's image there was actually two still images from Fist of Fury, and I think the second one was from Enter the Dragon. And then the character of Nora Miao sees the resemblance in spirit of Chen Zhen. So that's why that's the crucial moment where she decides to teach Jackie's character in the secret technique of the Fist of Fury, which is nice to say the least, because then we get to see that final duel, which he gets to employ his skills to the fullest. And unfortunately, his character and many others were killed at the end of the movie. It's like a bitter note at the end. And that's one of the few movies where Jackie's character is being killed on screen. The other two examples I can think of are Hand of Death, from 1976. He was filming simultaneously New Fist of Fury and that movie as well for John Woo. And the other one was The Prisoner, UK title. I think it was the original title was Prison on Fire from 1991. It was a starring vehicle for Jimmy Wang Yu, who is a very prominent actor in the martial arts scene. In many movies, he was portraying very like strong-willed characters as well. So these are the three examples I can think of Jackie's character being killed off in there. However, that old scene, the end one, I didn't see it in the shorter version. I was just like it stopped there abruptly. I didn't know was the ending actually, but that ending is tied up nicely with the whole narrative of the movie, which is all right. I think it gives like a patriotic feel to it because it's all connected to fight the oppression, fight the aggressors, and so on and so forth. So in that regard, it worked well. Although it was a bit like, I think it was a bit over the top because they shouldn't like kill all of them, but because they were branded as a rebels from fighting against the oppression, that demise seems kind of like logical. I would say that all in all, Lo Wei did a very good job in directing that particular picture because he didn't stray away too much from the formula there. He wanted to see the success of the movie itself, and it delivered a modest box office profit, to be honest. So by that time, probably the Bruce Lee willingness to see more of that story came into either was subdued or like reduced in impact. So it's 3 years after his death, but they were still looking for that new Bruce Lee. And Jackie perhaps was not the best to be put in these shoes because his entire persona is totally different. He said in few interviews that he likes more a comedic approach rather than a very serious one. But by that time he was like a relatively unknown on the scene, so he didn't have any much to say about it. So he just followed the advices of the director. And later on we're going to see how he actually progresses there. And anything else for the movie? The picture quality is absolutely amazing. That's the technical part which I want to mention because 88 Films went to do a 2K scan and restoration of the original camera negative, the 35 millimeters. So the picture quality there is absolutely top notch. Absolutely like pristine, no artifacts, no scratches, no nothing. The audio mix is the original mono audio. For the longer version is in Mandarin, for the shorter version is in Cantonese. But the picture there is just amazing. You just I can't see any flaws in it. Although it's been only a 4K scan, a 2K scan, sorry. So probably we're going to see a 4K, full native 4K version later in the future, who knows. But with the tendency of 88 Films releasing their movies in 4K as well, I would say that's entirely possible. So that's about this movie. The next movie which I'm going to follow up is called Shaolin Wooden Man, and Jackie plays an interesting character in there. In what way, we're gonna see in the next episode. But for now, thank you very much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed that video. And see you in the next one.